Hey, Cinephile Mike is here, and we are moving right along. It is day 6 of award season reviews, season 3, 97 reviews coming at you in 97 days, covering a few of the hundreds of films that will be vying for awards contention in early 2025. For these reviews, all the information that I'm bringing to you will be current within 7 days of recording and posting because some films that I discuss this season will still be in theaters, so that information does change day to day. As we also go, I'll be giving you the critical response, the box office information, any awards that the film might have already been recognized with, as well as give some of my thoughts on the possible nominations or potential wins as we move on through the season. And as important, most importantly, these reviews are spoiler free. Also, make sure you check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for lots of great additional videos, reviews, print, exclusive content, and the ever informative and important Where Can I Watch This Spreadsheet 2024 edition, where you can track the nominations, wins, and most importantly, see how to watch all of these films that are nominated this season. I mean, you want to watch, right? Today, we are in the penultimate day of the first theme week top box office flicks week. While we don't have those major nods yet, these are the films that I believe will be in contention, at least at a minimum, for the Golden Globe Awards' Cinematic and Box Office Achievement category. This award recognizes those films that have achieved a total box office gross of at least $150 million, the $100 million coming from the US domestic box office, and the at least $50 million coming from the international box office. As of this recording and posting, there are 18 films vying for these 8 spots, and I'm giving you 7 of them. And who knows, some more of them may pop up as we go through the season. We still have lots of other theme weeks and the ever enjoyable Razzie Week. Today, for day 6, I'm sorry. It feels like it's been a week of sequels, but today is a good one. I am discussing Universal Pictures' almost 30 years in the making. Take that, Inside Out 2, Twisters. Written by Mark L. Smith from a story by Joseph Kosinski, the film was directed by Lee Isaac Chung. Released this past summer, the film performed very well at the box office, making $267,762,265 domestically, and internationally, it brought in $103,200,000, sitting with a current worldwide total of $370,962,265. Critically a little divided, the film sits with a critical score of 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, culled from 389 reviews, and a higher 91% popcorn meter based on 10,000 audience reviews. While no award wins yet for this film, there have been some nominations, and the film is actually getting recognized for its soundtrack and some early love for the visual effects, many of which were actually practical as opposed to full on CGI. Always refreshing to see. So, what's happening in Twisters? Well, almost 30 years have passed since the events of the original film, and Dorothy, our Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt invention from the '96 film, is still being used to send up her sensors into tornadoes to collect information. And the college team of Kate, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, Javi, played by Anthony Ramos, Jeb, played by Daryl McCormick, Addie, played by Kiernan Shipka, and Praveen, played by Nick Dodani, head off to test Kate's theory of releasing a polymer mix that can cause a tornado to dissipate. They chase tornadoes in Oklahoma to test these theories. Now, Kate has a reputation for reading the weather and storm patterns better than anyone. And almost as fast as they see some success with their experiment, as the tornado they chase for this seems small, it sadly quickly grows very big, and tragically, only Kate and Javi survive. We then quick jump 5 years later. Kate has now abandoned chasing and is working in New York at a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration office. She's traded the field for the office job. One day, Javi shows up and convinces Kate to join him and his partner Scott, played by our new Superman, David Cornsweet, and their company Stormpar in Oklahoma to chase again. Because they have a new technology that can scan the makeup of tornadoes and provide the data needed to see how tornadoes are made and warn and save communities. So this is bringing back the work they had done. Kate is a bit hesitant, but eventually she does agree. She says, I'll give you 1 week. And upon arrival, she arrives, meets Stormpar, but also meets Tyler, played by Glenn Powell, and his ragtag group of YouTube famous tornado wranglers. Woo! Including his cameraman and fireworks enthusiast Boone, played by Brandon Perea. A stark difference to Javi's corporate team, who seem to be in it for the thrills and the money of selling t shirts and mugs, who are now also being accompanied by British journalist Ben, played by Harry Haddon Patton, who's writing a piece on American storm chasing. As Kate begins to follow along and engage with both teams, also while dealing with some serious PTSD from the five tragedy 5 years ago, she will see that the intentions of each team may or may not be what they present themselves to be. And as we go from Twister to Twister with each team, these will become clear, and this will lead her to maybe revisit her own research to see what went wrong last time. And, help can sometimes come in the least likely of ways. I'm going to end it there. And I have to say, Chung brings an action film that not only pays homage to the original 1996 film, but also a lot of those great action films of the 90s in the vein of like Speed and The River Wild. Employing more practical effects in addition to CGI, you really feel every moment of tragedy, and it is impressive. I mean, you missed the chance if you haven't caught the film yet, but it was worth seeing on a big screen. If they re-release this for award season and you have a chance to get out and see it in a big screen, um, there's a very meta sequence that takes place in a movie theater that was quite interesting to see. As we follow each story, each scenario gets more and more intense, and yet Chung, because he's a master storyteller, is able to craft moments of levity within this dire circumstance, and it's captured wonderfully by cinematographer Dan Mindell. The sweeping Oklahoma skies are a sight to behold, and working with the visual effects brought by Ben Snow and company are not to be disregarded. While the original holds a special place in many hearts, this film, while following the skeleton of its predecessor, Kaczynski's story and Smith's script actually pays more attention to character and plot, as well as the action, allowing the viewer to engage in a different way with the film that I found to be more meaningful. And I'm a huge fan of the first. So I love this one just as much, maybe a little bit more. Additionally, and this is maybe a testament to the experts that they brought in to work on the film, there's much more of an explanation of the science that we're seeing on the screen. The core trio of the film, acting wise, Edgar Jones, Ramos, and Powell, they carry the story very effectively, but it's clear, and if you have social media or see any of the magazines, the standout power of the true one is the true charisma of Powell's Tyler. Powell exudes equal levels of charm and arrogance and proves between this and performances in other earlier films this year, Hitman, Anyone But You, he has that high wattage movie power along the lines of his Top Gun Maverick mentor Tom Cruise. With these three, the rest of the supporting cast that fills out Tyler's group, including Boone, Lily, played by Sasha Lane, Dexter, played by Tunde Adebimpe, and Danny, played by Katie O'Brien, really evoke the true spirit of Helen Hunt's crew in the first. And look, while the plot is a little bit predictable, I mean, we kind of see where it's going to go. And there's one plot regarding Javi's funders that's shorthanded a bit, that's an interesting one. There's a subplot I wish they would have gotten into a little bit more. But aside from that, this is a really action packed film. Feel good. It will invoke nostalgia for the fans of the first. It will bring a whole new slew of love to the franchise for first timers. And for awards, look, in addition to the awards season nod, which I think the Box Office Achievement Award, I believe Twisters will pop up, I think there's a couple of Oscar nominations this film could actually go for. I would not be surprised if the sound, visual effects, and the cinematography are campaigns for it. Those three could be strong contenders. And also, given the more than 2 dozen that were written for this film, the soundtrack is a huge love letter to country music. So I do believe that some of those songs may vie for one of the 5 best original song nominations. And I don't think that would be the worst thing. That country soundtrack is a lot of fun to listen to. For me, Twisters is a very delightful and fun 4-star film. It loses that star for me because the plot shifts. There were a little more humanity storylines that I would have liked to see, or let's say anti-humanity that they touch on. So there are a few things I would have stayed for an extra 20 minutes if they dug in, but I digress. If you would like to chase Twisters, I'm trying to be punny. As of this recording and posting, Twisters is currently streaming on Peacock. So there you have it, folks. 6 down, 91 to go. As always, if you like what you heard here, please click that little subscribe button, like the video, spread the word. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. If you follow me on social media, you'll be able to participate in some polls coming up to help choose which films I do on certain theme weeks. You can also find lots of great additional content on my website, cinephilemike.com. Until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.